Hi everyone. I'm here sitting with Jeremy from Trail CPA. I'm so excited for this conversation because all the mentors asked me to have a conversation with you. Of course, it would have been better with you and Trent, but we know that we're just coming through off the back of tax season, so that's a lot to ask for have the two owners in person. But we'll be happy with you, Jeremy, answering the questions today. So thank you for making the time. I wanted to go through some questions because the Wize Factor Chat sessions is basically the mentors nominated you because they think you have the Wize Factor, which is rare amongst all of our members who go through the process. You've recently finished your Wize journey, but I'm sure that you carry a lot of things that you've learned with you. So I'm excited to dive in and learn what were some of those. But before we dive in, we'll go from the beginning. It's when did your business start? When did Trail CPA start?
Yeah, we started in about mid 2019. So we've been at it for coming up on 7 years now.
Yes, nice. And just right before the pandemic, did it impact you? Like I guess it did.
Yeah, we were pretty small through the pandemic, or the start of the pandemic at least. There was just, I want to say, three of us at that point. We were still growing rapidly. We intended to build it remote, so we went full remote during the pandemic and kind of never looked back. We have an office in four different cities, but it's basically just one person's workspace where they can meet with clients if we have any local clients that want to meet and just be productive. And otherwise, everyone else on the team, we're up to about 18 on the team now, and we are all full remote at this point.
Incredible. Do you think there are some perks or benefits of being fully remote, or do you miss anything from being all in the same place or anything like that?
Yeah, there's pros and cons for sure. I think generally speaking, we prefer the remote model. We've seen a lot of benefits from a hiring perspective and from finding more of a work-life balance. We've seen a lot of benefits there for the team and finding people across the country. Out of our 18 people, I think we're in probably 10 different states at this point, which is a little bit of a payroll headache, but
Yeah.
otherwise has been great that we can just find good talent regardless of where they're at. And we've found that our retention rates of our team also has been definitely positively impacted from being remote. So
Incredible. I'm so glad that you had that impact and it was kind of a less hard when you entered the pandemic because I feel like that was such a hard time for everyone who wasn't working remotely. So the fact that you were already kind of open to that because there's a lot of people, especially in the accounting field, that are like closed off on people working remotely. But yeah, I think that's why you pulled through.
yeah,
Well,
I really think that if you're coming into the pandemic and you've always been an in-person firm and all of your clients are used to in-person and like, or just you're just thinking about switching over to remote, like that's a big lift. That's a lot of
yeah.
change of how things are done and whatnot. But if you are starting from scratch and have no existing processes, have no existing
Yeah.
team, don't have all those pieces in place already, it definitely, I think we definitely have some advantages compared to firms that are trying to transition to remote or are partially remote or their team works from home 3 or 4 days a week or different things like that because we've
Yeah,
just
you
built it 100% to be remote. So
Yeah, I agree. You have
mhm,
that up your sleeve.
totally.
So going down the line, you started back in 2019. 7 years is a long time, so I'm sure a lot has happened since then. But I want to go to that minute when you thought, I think we need help, guys. We need a handout here. What was keeping you up at night at that time? What were the challenges you were facing as a firm owner?
Yeah, my role in the firm has evolved to be much more on the business process, the systems, managing the team, that side of things. My business partner is very good at business development and sales calls and bringing in new work and all that good stuff. So my approach to this has always been, hey, we shouldn't be reinventing the wheel in this process. Other people have ran accounting firms and businesses, and why would we start from scratch and try to relearn every mistake ourselves rather than starting with a framework that works and is proven and can get us over so many issues and mistakes that we would have to learn ourselves. So that was where I initially started. I started with the Wize Vault, where there's the video. I think it's the Vault,
Yeah.
where the videos. There's lots of video content and lots of help yourself opportunities in there, and you can start to implement a lot of the Wize learnings or information or whatnot. But I would say we struggled with getting my business partner on board, and I think that was more an issue of I didn't really understand Wize nearly as well as I needed to. So for me to go and convince somebody and teach them how to do it as well just wasn't working very well for us. So it made a lot of sense to bring in Thomas was our coach, Thomas, and have regular meetings with him and have him teach the both of us and get the buy-in and work on it together through the coaching program rather than just the help yourself option.
Yes, that's incredible. I feel like there was a lot of you being also like envisioning that in the future that you could be a lot better from what I'm hearing. And yeah, it's like a scaling problem. It's when it starts to be more obvious that you need to go next level and that you need all the things that you probably learned. There's also a leap going through the Weiss Vault and going into working with Thomas directly. Or what did you see about working through yourself through the videos? What was that you saw that made you think, I think I need to work one-on-one. I think I need the accountability to move forward?
For us, it was we saw, or at least myself especially, I
Yeah.
saw the benefits. I saw them
Oh,
demonstrating the system worked, but I didn't have a lot of success with the implementation. Just
okay.
trying to watch a video and make some major systemic changes in your firm. I think it was doable. I think there was definitely potential. I think if I was a solo practitioner, I probably would have had more success with self implementation. I
Yeah.
still, in respect, would get the coach, but yeah, just overall trying to get my business partner on board and trying to make some pretty major changes in our company as we were growing quite rapidly through this process. It was very beneficial to have a coach that has solved a lot of these issues. We've worked with coaches before that a generic business coach, and I think there's value in that. And I also think there's much more value in somebody who's ran an accounting firm before and has solved
Yeah.
the exact same problems that you've solved and can
Yeah.
just be like, no, just go this route. You don't have to spend 3 weeks trying to come up with the right solution or reinvent the wheel. Here's the
Yeah.
answer. Run with it.
I agree. And you said something very interesting, which is if you were a solo entrepreneur, you would probably implement it faster, everything. But of course, when you have a partner, you have to have get them on the same boat as you are. And it
Absolutely.
sounds like you were pretty much in the same mindset as the teachings from Wise. Do you feel like when you started working with Thomas, there was a bigger mind shift for yourself and for your business partner as well? Based on culture, on leadership, on many of the learnings that we teach are very different from traditional accounting firms. So, do you feel like there was a mindset play into all of this?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I would say Trent and I came from a public accounting firm that did
Mm,
similar things to what we did, but I would say we weren't there for a super long time and a lot of what we wanted to do we didn't learn from their firm. So I would say in a lot of ways we were quote unquote starting from scratch and didn't come in with a bunch of really good habits and processes and
mm,
systems and stuff that we just intended to implement. It was more of a, hey, how can we build this thing more from scratch? And so with that mindset of how do we build this
yeah,
firm, again, having a coach or somebody that can coach you through those decisions really and get us both on the same page was a huge one. That was probably a big piece of it that I didn't emphasize enough, but just having Trent and I both in the meeting with Thomas and both like if I go and watch a Wise video myself and get all amped up
yeah,
about the change I want to make, getting Trent as amped up about it and as excited about it,
yeah.
it's a pretty big challenge versus hey, we're both in a monthly meeting with Thomas and we both get excited about the same
Yeah.
things and we both know what next steps are because we've talked through it with the coach. So
Yeah, and Thomas is so good at getting people excited about they were doing and motivated because he's so motivated yourself. So I feel like he was spot on, the coach for you guys. I have a question that I asked all the Wize Factor Chat guests, and it's that that we talk about building a business that runs without you. We talk about this very often, and we kind of want to teach that into you. But we know that, and I've sat with lots of firm owners who are not interested in that and who see it in another way. So I want to ask you personally what that means for you. And if you're excited about it, if you're scared about it, if you're already your mindset is up to working towards that, how does that look for you, a business that runs without you?
I would say that's definitely the path that we were interested in. Both Trent and I have young kiddos at home, and you have a spouse and young kiddos that also want your attention, and you could work 24 hours a day during tax season and not get it all done. There has to be some
Yeah.
balance, and there has to be you have to build the skill of delegating and building a team to make that all work. So yeah, we value our time highly, and for us, that is the right goal. We're not here to build a $50 million firm and go as big as humanly possible and grow
Yeah.
as fast as humanly possible. We're looking for, again, especially since the phase we're in with our families and our lives,
Yeah.
but if we could hand off a lot of the day to day, hand off a lot of the stress, not need to work as many hours during tax season, and at that point, it's, hey, are we going to work 2 or 3 days a week? Are we going to fill our time with some of the projects that we're more excited about that maybe aren't at the top of the list? Like there's a lot of options at that point. So building towards that gives you options.
Yeah, I agree. In that journey, where do you see yourself in, like in percentage, if you will? Like, where do you think you are in that line from not being in the business to being very overworked and a 12-hour workday? Where do you think you are at?
It's a good question. So I would say we did a quite good job of it, of building the team and getting out of a lot of the day to day and the doing the taxes and doing the accounting work. The problem we ran into is we were growing so fast that the next set of
Yeah.
responsibilities and things that landed on our plate were coming at us very quickly. So through 21, 22, 23, we were almost doubling in size every year,
Wow.
which was very good timing to be working with Wize. I think we started in
Yeah.
22 with Wize, if I'm not mistaken. So when you're growing,
Long time
22, we grew
ago.
70, we grew 72% in 22 and 97% in 23. And without Wize telling us, hey, you need to go hire 2 senior tax managers yesterday, we would not have hired as aggressively. Those were the first on the tax side. Those
Few
were the first
changes, yes.
managers, reviewers that we had brought on the team, and that was obviously a big commitment to bring on 2 of them at the same time. And it worked out extremely well, and we would have been in pretty rough shape if we didn't have all that extra capacity and on the team. So, I mean, during tax season, we're intentional that we want to jump in and help out. We don't want to
Yeah,
continue a more of a laid back
I get that.
approach. So during tax season, we definitely step up our hours, but off of tax season, we're not working 40 hours a week anymore. Close, but we're not working 40 hours a week anymore. And I would say our work-life balance is quite a bit better than a few
Yeah.
years ago, for sure.
I'd say that's already a huge success because most of our firm owners, when they start, they work 60 hours a week. I know that's a huge pat on the back to yourself that you feel like, okay, I get to go home at 5 p.m. and just, relax and step back. My last question is related to what you're able to do with the time that you are freeing up gradually, I guess. So, is there any hobbies or any activities that you enjoy doing outside of accounting that you are able to do more so now that you are stepping away from the business? And that when you have a 20-hour work week, 7-hour work week, hopefully, you get to do more of that.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I've necessarily figured out exactly what I'll do with all my spare time at some point when I get there, but every year it gets a little bit less stressful and a little bit more reasonable with our hours. And yeah, it gives us more time. I mean, again, kids is the big one, family is the big one. I have got into car racing a little bit, so I do enjoy
Oh,
that. And I mean, everything from, I mean, with more time, you can do whatever you want. So it gives you
yeah.
options. Mhm.
Learning a something new, like playing new sport or anything like that.
The one I've been playing with lately has been AI and programming and stuff a little bit,
Oh,
which does help with the firm if I can do it well as well. Also, playing with that right now.
incredible. That tells me you've been spending some time with Thomas as well.
Yes. Yes. He is also in that as well.
Yeah, is that. Well, Jeremy, those were all my questions from today. I'm so happy that we had this talk. Thank you so much for answering and for showing up. I know that during a busy workday, this is a huge thing for me. So thank you so much. And I hope that you
Of
get
course.
to that 30-hour work week and then 20-hour work week progressively. But yeah, thank you
We're
so
moving in the
much.
right direction. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes,
Thanks, Claudia. Take care.
thanks.